Bethany Scott here, and welcome to my channel. Today I am joining you with my cup of coffee because it is my coffee break during tax season, and a new box that just came. It is from Simon Says Stamp, and I know I saw the preview, but I don't remember the preview, so this is going to be like a first time. But here is the Positively Perfect Silver Splatter Medium. It should be very fun to play with. I'm sure I'll find something good for it. And let's open the kit. I don't even remember what the theme is, so we will just find out together. But let's see some birthday stuff. Oh yes, it is birthday month. Woohoo! So there is 6 mini cubes. Wow. I might have one of those colors already, but I don't think I have the rest. I recognize one at least. Oh, here is a Tim Holtz Distress brush. I have one already. They're cute. They're a little dusty brush, or you could do texture. There's all different things you could use them for. Very cool. And then this, you can make use water, alcohol ink, and use your splatter medium to mix with it. There's all different uses for a little pen like this. I have a few. I think they're all full. Maybe one might be empty. And we have doilies and twine, a very thin twine. Oh boy. And a shimmery envelope, a yellow and another shimmery green envelope. Very Easterish, but you could turn them into birthday, spring, whatever floats your boat. And tags. I don't make a lot of tags, but when I do, I like to do like the distress ones. These are really fun if you do any junk journaling or just want to add a little pizzazz to a card. These are really fun and easy to use. And then here's an envelope. I'm actually probably going to stick my current tags right into the envelope, corral them a little bit. Foam squares. And then these are foiling. So good thing I still have my foiling out nearby. These would be toner foiling or not hot foiling, but toner foiling. That's really cool. I always love a good toner foiling ephemera set or sentiment set. Here is different. Don't know if this is part of the kit. Yeah, it must be. Acetate, and there's, you could even use this little thin tissue paper for something. And then there's 2 card bases, very heavy cardstock. A spritz bottle. Woohoo! I don't have any of these, I believe. That'll be exciting to play with. And then here is the watercolor bouquet stamp set. Oh man. And here is the cardstock. I believe this is watercolor cardstock. Yep. Tim Holtz Ranger Distress Watercolor Cardstock. So that is going to definitely be something I'm going to need to pull some watercolor out for. I do have a shimmer set for sure. I believe I got a basic colored set, but don't ask me where it is yet. But that will be really fun to play with. And then here's all the ideas. So someone went and made strips of watercolor distressing with the happy birthday wishes, love you a bunch, and then cut out the watercolor stamps with thanks. These are really beautiful ideas. I really love this tag. It's a full bloom colored in. Let's see if I can get you zoomed in here. There is the watercolor tag. It's fully stamped up and colored in so many beautiful different colors. That one is really gorgeous. These are some really great ideas. I'm going to take a hot second and mull over what I have available right now, and I will be back and see what we can get going. Alright, I've gone through the crafty stash and I've prepped some things. First off, I put my foil, my toner foil, over one of the sentiments, and we're going to test this out and see if it is truly a toner foiling. And guess what? Yes, indeed, it is toner foiling. I put it through, I think, 9-ish times, just because I have not used my laminator in quite some time. So I wanted to be sure, for sure, that it would work. And I used a rainbow foil, toner foil, excuse me, and cut it down, pre-cut it down, but look at how pretty it is. Not underfoiled and not overfoiled. So I love the result. I also cut down the watercolor paper. I cut it down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I've grabbed these lovely cubes, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a little watercolor background. I filled this pen with water, and it's probably gonna take me a little bit to squeeze some out. Oop. So I'm just going to use my basic glass mat, and I'm not going to do a whole lot. But I'm basically turning these color cubes into just their own version of a watercolor. I'm not going for anything specific, more just blasts of color. So getting some really good amounts of ink. And any water-based ink cubes you can really just do this with, turn it into its own watercolor. And I'm going for the abstract look, just because I'm going to have some more grounding elements added, but my background, I'm going to be a little abstract. So kind of just making polka dot circle. Yeah, I'm just kind of randomly going, swirling as if it's a out of focused field of flowers, maybe? I don't know. Don't really have a rhyme or reason. I'm just playing. And then on the side over here, I have more water to spritz this off, and I have a lovely, very inked up and painted up microfiber towel. And let's see, put some greens in here if I can open it up. And I just dipped my entire card front into the water as I was doing that. Okay, the cube did not like me for a moment. Alright, I'm going to put more green towards the bottom. I'm going to get my back of my card front not so wet. You don't need warping on top of all this. And this, I'm more going to do straight lines as if it's different stems. But when I say straight lines, it's not really straight lines. It's more like just swooshes. Very whimsical. And I'll come back and add more as I feel. Alright, switching colors to, let's go with the rhubarb next. Oh my, these are really on tight. Alright, so the rhubarb. We'll add little smaller dots. These are like the accents in the field of flowers. And I like this watercolor paper because it's absorbing it very quickly and drying very quickly. It's one thing with watercolor, you want a cardstock that dries fairly fast. And that should do it for that color. Now on to Zest. Whew. Just got a thumb full of yellow. And this I'll do a little bit bigger dots. Basically, I'm just gonna keep creating this field feeling of flowers. I think what really spoke to me was that example of the tag that was basically just color. The entire thing was color. I don't think there was any white space at all. And so that's kind of what I'm aiming for here, is this full colored effect. So I'm sure I'll come back with some more colors here. And one more right there, sounds good. Okay, let's grab some rose, since that lid already fell off. And I open the box, and that's just a deeper maroonish red. So I'll keep those on the smaller side too. And just going back and forth. Until I feel like there's enough of that color. And I'm a little bit lighter on my strokes for this one, just to give it a different texture than the other ones. And we need like one right here. And I think that's good. Now I'm getting my stamp into the water. Alright, apparently I moved too much for that. Alright, and then the last color is the violet. So we'll add that pop of violet. If I can open it. There we go. That rose color really stuck onto the brush here. Alright. And then adding the violet. And this is more of an accent color, so I'm not really going to do a whole lot of it. Or large ones either. But I'm really just filling in the gaps. Where I see more whites. And actually I'm noticing I'm using it more than I thought I would, which is fine. Now I'm going to go back and add a little more of the yellow. I'm going to spritz off the violet so I don't taint my color here too much. My spray bottle is from IKEA and I love it. It's pretty great. Alright. So just bringing a little more yellow filler into those gaps. Especially on the edges. Yellow is a very good filler color. Even though I want it to feel like it's yellow flowers, it's still very good because it doesn't take away from the punch of the other colors. And then I'm grabbing a little bit of the leftovers of some of this rose. Seems to have tinted my water going back and forth. So we're basically creating a new filler color. And this is soothing and a little bit different. Using some of my older artist techniques and bringing it back to card making. But you could see, you could take these as balloons, you could look at them as flowers. It's kind of up to interpretation for who you're giving the card to. Alright. And I'm going to add a little bit more green. So I feel like the green got overshadowed by a lot of the larger colors. But it's good that I'm layering it back in instead of having overdone it and then regretting my choice. But still very whimsical, sporadic strokes. Nothing too big, too deep, too long, etc., etc. Just hints of that green. And obviously all my stems, I'll show you up close, all of my little stems, or you could call them balloon strings, are, you know, in an up and down direction. Alright, and I think we'll bring a little bit of that lighter pink back in. And I've run short of water, so add a little more water to my space here. And then I'm just going to dot, like really tiny dots. Just really fill out the colors. Like little petals from flowers just peeking out. Especially the edges. It's very easy to miss the edges because when you're doing a lot of circular motions, the edges, you don't necessarily focus on those too much. taking my water off before it becomes an issue later. Alright, next I'm going to add more abstract with these stamps. I'm just going to stamp out a few of these with black ink. I'm going for a bold choice. It is not typical by any means. This is not everyone's forte. I completely understand, but I am making a bold decision as long as I can find my black ink. Alright, I did find my ink. It's my Versified Claire Nocturne ink, and I hid it too well behind my computer. And because it's watercolor, it's not a full stamp. You can kind of see there's a little bit of graininess to it. And I'm going to purposefully stamp off the edge. And then all right. Trying to not get myself all inked up. Use this one. This is a design choice. This is not for everyone. I get it. But it's a cool aesthetic if you try. And it would actually be really pretty if you stamped it. The stamps itself, the stamps, they actually give that watercolor effect. So if you wanted to give a watercolor effect from the pads themselves, or from the colors in the ink cubes themselves, that would be a great choice too. Alright, and 3. Since these are littler, I'm going to do it more in the middle. And 4. And then let's add this sprig. Oops. Got that full of ink. Add that sprig there. And right into there. And off the edge here. And in the corner there. That'll work. Alright, and we'll do one more smaller flower. I'm gonna go for the rose. Right there in the middle. To the side, right here. The top. And we're down here. All right, so that very, very distinctly different. It's not your typical, even a typical mixed media look, but watercolor just gives you a different kind of an effect. And I love doing watercolor just to switch it up a little bit, to play. It's like being a kid again, where you're like, well, there are really no rules, so just have fun with it. Now we're gonna assemble this card. I'm gonna fold my card base. I have a bone folder here, and I'll just use that to score it down. I apparently put it in some overstamping, so whoops, we've distressed the back of this card now. I'm gonna clean up my space here before I do any more. distressing. And then we're going to use some washi tape to bring a little bit of balance back into the mixed media look. And I got this washi tape from scrapbook.com, and it is by We Are Makers, sorry. We Are Makers, not We Are Memory Makers. I think that might have been a company. I don't remember. But anyways, it was either a freebie or really cheap from scrapbook.com. And I was kind of pre-thinking all the spring things and just really love this one. This might blend in too much. This one will stand out, but I kind of want the blend in. Okay, so we're gonna do that, and I'll only do it on the card front, not the base. So I'll keep the edges of the base white and face the flowers up, I guess. And it blends in a lot, so I may use a second color or keep it plain. Not sure here. All right, so it blends in a lot. You barely can see that it's even in existence. So, cutting it off, I am going to go a slight different direction. I'm going to add this pink. It has gold foiling of leaves or vines, whatever. And just gonna layer that right over. And it's a smidge crooked for me. Relayering. All right. And then I'm going to grab this twine because I think it's really cute. It breaks it up a little bit. And first I'm going to make a bow. If I can remember how to make a bow, that would be helpful. Think I remember. I don't tie my kids' laces as often anymore now that they're like, no, Mom, I've got this. So bow tying is not a thing so much anymore, which is so strange to say out loud. All right. And I will make it a little smaller, and we're just going to have it go right off the edge here. I will glue it on the back so it's not moving, and I'm going to just put it right over the washi tape as part of the texture of the card. Alright, so I'll glue this side first, and I'll keep it a little off-center just for some visual intrigue. And glue, glue, glue. And thankfully the Barely Art glue dries fairly quickly, so I won't have to wait a whole long time just to move on to the next step. Oops, except for helps if I don't move it. Trying to keep it taut as it dries. All right. moving the rest of my twine out of the way so that doesn't accidentally get caught in the mix. And I will throw a acrylic block over the top just to help it secure. In the meantime, I'm going to prep my sentiment here. I'm going to find what I did with those square foams as I throw things off of my desk. Not in disgust, but in a, I need to find stuff here. And let's see. I'm going to keep it edge to edge, I think, just to make it distinguished and different. All right, well, let me put my foam tape on first before I make a decision. I'm debating cutting off the edge of this a little bit. And this foam tape is by Scrapbook Adhesives. In case you're wondering, actually it's a thinner foam square, so I like that because it's mailing friendly. If someone should choose to mail this, that would be very easy to mail this. All right, and now, since I don't need the glue to fully dry, just enough to not move as I glue the rest of this, I'm going to put a lot of glue on the back of this card front. Glue it down, make some decisions, and then I can decide about my sentiment placement. And before I glue this, I'm going to pick up the excess glue off my glass mat, so I'm not throwing glue on top of the black ink already on my card here. And positioning it just right. It's a nice thing about card bases that come from a factory, so to speak. The measurements are a little bit more precise than mine, probably. Every once in a while I get a card base and I'm like, did I measure this? I don't know. It doesn't feel measured, you know. All right, so I'm gonna actually put 2 acrylic blocks down because it needs a little extra reinforcement weight-wise. And in the meantime, I'm gonna try to visualize how this looks going completely across versus not. Yep, I'm gonna visually keep it completely across. But I'm gonna let this fully dry and be right back. All right, now that it has had a good second to dry and also cleaned up my space a little bit so I don't have to worry about any kind of over stamping or inking again, I have chosen just to leave it full frontal, not trimming it down, keeping it the full A2 size card, edge to edge. No trimming here. I think it adds a little bit of simplicity, but look at how fun that is. And it's just a little bit different and yet whimsical and fun and simple, even in its elegance. So anyways, I hope this inspired you to think outside the box. I love watercoloring. I don't do it enough. I'm going to be honest. I am glad that I got this box though, because this kind of helped me think outside the crafty box and just said, all right, what can I use this kit for? How can I make it work for me? And you know what? I absolutely love the results. I'm probably going to sell this or send it to a friend. I can't make up my mind. Or I'll make a duplicate and then keep one for a friend and then sell the other one. I don't know. This is just, I keep looking at it and I can't stop touching it because it's so pretty. And even though it has, you know, the smudged back Oh well, that's where I'll sign my name and then no one will notice. It'll look intentional, right? Anyways, check out the links down below. I have some great things going on with my Mary Kay business. And then also, this is your official announcement. I have not closed my 900 subbies giveaway. Why? Because it's tax season and I have not had the chance to draw a name or even put all the names in the wheel to spin for for the prizes. So you will have. I'm going to extend it to the 17th. So March 17th, which is a lucky day for all of you who celebrate St. Patty's. I am Irish, and so's hubby, so's the kids, so's my mom. I don't think my dad is, but anyway, we still celebrate anyways. And we consider that a lucky day in our house. And so I'm going to just extend the giveaway to the 17th, mostly because I can and because taxes are done on the 16th. So I'll finally have time again to breathe and do all the fun things that I have planned. More than just a half hour of sitting down and creative thinking out loud. But anyways, I hope I inspired you just a little bit to think outside the crafty box. And I love this kit. It's kind of one of those unexpected surprises. And yeah, I'm going to definitely pull this one out a little bit more often because it's going to help me explore some of those more artistic sides, a little less clean and simple, straightforward looks, and just play and have fun. Anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Don't forget to find the joy in your day and happy making. Bye!